This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Jay Shy here with another video, and today's video is going to be a little bit about kind of like a video game discussion, because I feel like I haven't done a discussion in quite some time, so I figure I do one. And today's discussion is going to be about I would say about dungeon crawlers and Persona 5 and finishing off, you know, those games, all those games that we all have collected and we continue to buy even though we haven't finished our games. So I am a part of I would say a website. It's kind of like I wouldn't say it's like it's kind of like social media, but not really social media. I don't like to use a lot of social media, but what I do use is this website called Backloggery.com. And Backloggery.com is basically where you upload all of your video games, anything that you're playing, and your goal is to try and beat those games. And I noticed that there was this little thing on the side called the multi-tap, and the multi-tap is basically where you sign your friends up and like your friends list. It's basically your friends list, and you're in kind of like this healthy competition against your friends and to see who can finish the most games on their Backloggery. The cool thing about Backloggery is that it kind of like curates your, I want to say curate, it kind of like totals up how many games you have unplayed, how many games do you have in your collection that are played but they're unfinished, games that you've beaten and games that you've completed. It's a really cool website. I noticed this is my form of social media. It's just me kind of, you know, tugging away at my game collection, because I noticed I have a lot of games in my collection. I curated it about 2 days ago after I purchased my last few games, and I have about 471 games in my collection in total. That's not including all the burned stuff that I have. It's just games that I purchased retail, physically. This isn't Steam or things I bought on GOG or anything like that. This is all physical games. But I just want to let you guys know that I am on Backlogger. If you guys wanted to add me on there, and we kind of do like this healthy competition of, you know, games that we're trying to beat, games that we're trying to finish. I would say about 4 of the games that I'm playing right now. Well, 4, because I've beaten one of them, which is Panzer Dragoon Saga. I just finished that. And right now I'm playing through Red Star on the PS2. And I'm trying to finish up Void Terrarium on the Switch, and I'm playing another game that I have not uploaded to my Backloggery, which is Wallachia, Reign of Dracula, which is kind of like Contra meets Castlevania. And I just finished up Little Nightmares. Little Nightmares completed. That took a while, but I did enjoy that one quite a bit. The other game that I'm playing is Wild 9 on the PS1. I've been trying to beat that, and I'm like 3 levels away from completing that. But anyway, I do want to let you guys know that I am on Backloggery, and if you guys want to add me on there or create your own Backloggery, you can. But I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of like dungeon crawlers, the future of dungeon crawlers, and I got my hands on a copy of Persona 5 Scramble. So I've been playing Void Terrarium, which is a roguelike dungeon crawler, very classic. It's akin to like Shiren the Wanderer, you know, but it has that classic rogue dungeon crawler kind of feel. And I wanted to talk about it because I find it very, very strange that these games are still being made. And I have no, I'm not mad at that. I'm actually kind of, I guess, kind of relieved, because there are developers out there that still make these roguelike dungeon crawlers that I enjoy. I spend a lot of time playing them, and like roguelike dungeon crawlers, first person dungeon crawlers, like those games I tend to spend a lot of time playing. But I noticed that I can no longer play like regular kind of JRPGs anymore, because they just they're just too long. But Void Terrarium, I've already soaked in like 25 hours into, and I don't even think I'm almost finished with it, because another dungeon just opened up in the game where it's like it's an endless dungeon and it has all this gear in it, and I'm like, oh god, now I gotta kind of run through this now, and it's I've been having tons of fun with it. But the reason why I wanted to talk about dungeon crawlers was because I picked up a copy of Persona 5 Scramble, or Strikers. Is it Scramble or Strikers? I know it's one of those. But I've been playing that, and I have to say, like, although the game has tons of like optic neural overload because the colors and there's just so much happening on the screen, I actually thoroughly enjoy it. It's a Musho brawler. If you don't know what a Musho brawler is, it's basically a game like Samurai Warriors or Dynasty Warriors, those kind of games. But I was shocked at how good Omega like implemented Persona 5's dungeon crawler aspects to a Musho brawler, because it's in hindsight it's still a dungeon crawler, because the way the game works is you kind of just go into a dungeon, you run around, and you can see all of the enemies kind of moving on the map. But when you attack them, you get a preemptive strike. And if they hit you first, or if they spot you and they hit you, then they get the first move to like do damage on you. And then it just kind of turns into like this Musho kind of brawler. And I appreciated that. But it's really interesting to see that people are taking, well, this company took a unique spin on dungeon crawling and a brawler and kind of combined it together, and I was really shocked by that, and that's what prompted me to make this video. The fact that I'm still shocked that people are being creative, developers, not people, but developers have people in it. Developers are being creative with dungeon crawlers, and I'm happy that dungeon crawlers are still being made. Because I had like this grim kind of view on things when the PS5 was about to launch. I mean, I've had a grim look on video games since like PS4, only because like it seemed everyone was gearing towards this kind of one viewpoint, which is if it is an RPG, we have to make it action based now, and if it does have like turn-based, take all of the turn-based out and just turned it into a Devil May Cry kind of hack and slash. That's kind of what I see is kind of happening to Final Fantasy at this point. It feels like it's more of an action RPG, like akin to like Ys 8 or 9, or Ys game in general, or Tales kind of game, because Tales kind of moved into that kind of spectrum as well. Or was it always like that? I don't really know, but it feels like Final Fantasy has done away with turn-based, unless you're like a smaller team and you're doing like Octopath Traveler or games like that tactics game that demo that they released that's pretty good as well. But I just wanted to say, like, it's really cool to see that dungeon crawlers are still being made to this day. And Persona 5 Scramble is actually a unique blend on taking an action RPG and turning it into a dungeon crawl, and blending dungeon crawling aspects to it. So unique stuff. So it's pretty cool. I'm probably not gonna beat that game as of yet, because I'm still running through other games. But until then, guys, yeah, if you haven't played Persona 5 Scramble, I'll give it a look. It's pretty cool. It's not terrible, but it does have a lot of things going on it on the screen, so that's probably a turn off for a lot of people. But yeah, until next time, guys, see you later. Bye.